Hey guys, welcome back to Ironside Ranch. I am sorry it's been a while since we've had a video out. It's been about 2.5 weeks. We've just been real busy with our other business, and then truthfully guys, we really just kind of needed a break. Things were so crazy for us. We've been working so much, just late nights and early mornings, that we needed some time off. But anyways, we are back at it. We are back doing videos. Well, the dog's going nuts. We are back doing videos, and we'll have content out to you. I wanted to talk to you guys about your food security right now, because it is under attack, and really, guys, they're coming after your food. Before we get to that, let's give you an update on the well. So you can see we got the well coming up behind me. This is all framed up now. I'm not putting the sheeting on until I get the interior components done. So all the electrical wiring I finished this morning, and we still got to run the plumbing lines here. But we've had the excavator out. We rented an excavator, and we're able to get most of our line work done. We still have one more line that we have to bury. But that's because we've got separate lines going so that the field lines don't go through the filter. They'll actually branch off of this in front of the filtration system. So it's a work in progress. We'll be done probably in about 2 weeks. We'll be on well water, which will be really nice. This has been a long time in coming. Y'all know we've talked about our water bill is really expensive, and then just having the water security of owning our own water, that is where we're trying to be at, and that's more important to us even than saving the money on our monthly bill. Now the article that Amanda Lynn sent me, I will post it down in the description, and so that way y'all can take a look at it. And what this article is, and why this is so scary, is that this article is talking about foot and mouth disease, and it's an Australian news company, but it's talking about hoof and mouth disease, not foot and mouth, hoof and mouth disease in swine. And the reason that I find this so disturbing is not because of the hoof and mouth disease, but because the government and the articles and the quotes in this article are pointing at small farmers as being the problem. Guys, small farmers are not the problem. This is just asinine to think that small farmers are the ones causing all this. These outbreaks happen in these massive confined area feeding operations. They don't happen in small farms, in hobby farms. It's almost a non-existent issue for us. I don't want to say it doesn't happen, but it's not real common. And so really this is kind of the next step, right? So this is the next step that they go to, where they say, hey, this is for your own safety. We're no longer going to allow you to raise your own meat, and you're no longer going to be allowed to sell beef and pork unless you go through a USDA processor, and then they're going to make it to where the processing, there's going to be a bunch of regulations on that. Australia already has a bunch of regulations on their swine specifically. It's very heavily regulated. Here we're not quite as strict on our swine regulations, but certainly there they are. And so we're seeing these same things. We saw the same thing when the avian flu came out, and we saw them saying that the backyard chickens are the problem. Backyard chickens are eating grasses. They're getting the actual vitamins from the soils, that the minerals that those grasses are bringing up, the vitamin D from the sun. The amount of vitamins and minerals, and you guys should look this up because I'm not smart enough to tell you, but the amount of vitamins and minerals in pasture-raised products is almost double, if not even slightly over double, what you get from a traditional store-bought product. And it's really interesting. They're encouraging you to do these store-bought eggs, right? These eggs that are fed out from a chicken that lives all of its life in a little itty-bitty cage. It's processed I think they process after about 26 months or something like that, where the chickens have basically no longevity of life. The beef, they're raised in feeding operations where they're fed anything from chicken manure, because chicken manure is high in protein, to dead cows that have been ground back up and put back into the system. That's where you get things like the bovine encephalitis, mad cow disease. That's where those come from. It's virtually impossible to get from a grass-fed operation. And then we deal with this hoof and mouth disease. And I believe that comes from fecal matter, but somebody correct me. If you know what that's from, put that down in the description. But again, we just don't deal with it on pasture-raised animals, and you don't deal with it on pastured livestock. So this is them trying to control the food, not trying to help you, not trying to do anything that they want to perpetuate, right? They're not trying to do good for you. They're not watching out for your well-being. If they're watching out for your well-being, they would be a lot more inclined to allow hobby farms and small farms to provide the food sources, right? What's happening is that what I think is 11 companies that run like 90% of the food products in the U.S., those 11 companies have lobbyists. They have agendas that they are pushing with our representatives to make sure that they stay in control. And this is why if you come up with a new Mr. Fizzle soda pop and that Coke, Coke, but that soda it becomes very popular, they'll buy you out at 20 times the value of your business just to keep a monopoly on it. It's pretty insane what they'll do, because they want to make sure that they stay as the big guys. And so they're trying to control your food. If they control the food, they control everything. Then at that point in time, everything is all about your safety. Do not sacrifice your own well-being. Do not sacrifice your own liberties for a sense of security, particularly for a false sense of security. There's the famous Thomas Jefferson quote on that one, but bottom line is if you sacrifice any of your liberties, you don't get them back. They're gone. We see this with the gun control lobbies. We see this with now the food lobbies, and the food is truly where the control is at. And this is how you know it was never, even with guns, it was never about gun control. It was always about control. That's what they want, is they want to be able to control you, to act in their certain way. This is what ESG comes into play. So I'll post a link to this article down below. Mandolin sent me actually about 5 articles like this. I'll see if I can get them all down below so y'all can take a look at them. But all kind of the general concept of small farms are bad. We need to be doing everything through these large farms. We need to have small farmers disappear, right? Food should only be provided by these large farms and go into the grocery store. It means that you're reliant on them, and that's not a good place to be. That's not where we want to be. We want to have our water. We want to have our own food. Does that mean that we can produce 100% of our own food? No. I mean, we're not going to start growing wheat and thrashing wheat. But it does mean that if I can trade a cow to a guy that is growing wheat, then that works out well for me, right? And I can get a year's worth of wheat, and he can get a year's worth of cow, and we're all set, or whatever equivalent is. So don't let them fool you into thinking that this is for your benefit. Keep your eyes open. Make sure you're active about this stuff, guys. The only thing that we can do now is just be loud about it and make sure that our voices are being heard when these policies come up, and they will come up. Luckily, our Supreme Court has been knocking down executive overreach like crazy, which has been good. But we need to continue going, and we can't give an inch on this. And especially when it comes to our food and our own security, our own well-being, our own livelihood, and our ability to be responsible for our own life. This is how we fight the Agenda 30, right? The agenda of you will own nothing and like it and be happy about it. We want to avoid that. And so anyways, guys, like I said, we will have videos coming out. We'll keep you updated on this project. This is kind of a cool thing that we've got going on here. So probably tomorrow I'll walk you through exactly what's going on. But well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it now. So what we've got here is we've got our filtration system. So you can see there's 3 filters there. There's a 4th filter. Let me move to this side. 4th filter right there. So that's the first one. That's a heavy sediment filter. This is a smaller particulate filter. So this one has it does sediment still, but it does it to a much finer quality. That one just kind of keeps this from getting clogged up. This one's washable. This one has to be replaced about every year. And then the next one over, that's where we get into our activated carbon filter. And so that's where we're looking at mostly trying to get like the viral particles out of there, the virus particles, bacteria, stuff like that. And then the next one over, that is a special filter for doing iron and sulfur out of your water. Now, sulfur, we're hoping that this system, enough movement of the water will allow it to eliminate the sulfur, because we have such a small amount of sulfur. If this doesn't work, we'll have to put a bubbler at the other end of this and hook in a different sulfur purification system. But for right now, this looks like this is going to handle it, because we don't have that much sulfur, and again, we don't have that much iron. If you have really high iron, you have to have other options. This a setup like this won't work. This only works if you have real low quantities of it. But again, this is a great option. Over here, we've got our pressure tank. Let me kind of move you. So this is our pressure tank. Obviously, our well wire coming out here. That's that red, green, and black one, and then that's our power wire going around and coming over to our electrical panel there. And that electrical panel is fed off the house, and basically we just wired in a breaker there that does run off of our generator. So we did have to do some changes to the wiring in the house when we did that. So our generator now, if we have to plug our generator in, our well will now be on it, and so which is obviously beneficial. It doesn't do much good if we are out 9 days and we can't water anything. So we need to be able to have our well on our generator. That was very, very important to us. Otherwise, we'd have to set up a separate generator out here, which I certainly didn't want to do. It's a huge expense. So anyways, guys, that's the well house. Like I said, tomorrow we're putting up the sheeting, and then we're not going to put the roof on yet. Like I said, I'm going to wait on the roof until I get the rest of this done, so I'm not working in a crouched area. But we're waiting on water lines and some more fixtures to come in, some more fittings to come in before we can plumb all this together. And then we'll connect our final water line, and we're done. It's really exciting. So I will catch y'all later. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see y'all tomorrow.